Josh Clements. Now, first of all, am I calling you Josh, Joshua, drone guy? How am I referring you?
Everyone calls me Joshy, but I like
Had a
Josh.
feeling that'd be the case on
Yeah,
your
I've got
Instagram and
Joshy on
everything
my
else.
Insta. Yeah, it's different to
Yeah.
Josh. It makes it a bit more, what's the word? Probably a bit more different to the normality of what Josh means. So yeah, but you can call me Josh, mate. All good, no troubles.
That's all good. Speaking of which, where did the Joshy part come from? Was that just a nickname or?
Some family members, some people I work with, friends in the past. When I was traveling Australia, everyone called me
Oh, very
Joshy
nice.
or J Dog. My other
Ah, okay.
friends called me other names, which I won't mention on the podcast. My
Uh,
family sometimes call me Joshy, Josh, or Son.
okay.
So there you
I'll
go.
say that. Okay. So I will admit. So the wonders of having a podcast like this is that it gives you the excuse to find out about things that you either have no idea about, some idea about, or geek out with people who obviously know a lot about the same thing. And first of all, random question: how many times do you go to the beach per week for like pleasure or just to use it for flying a drone every weekend?
I'd probably say weather dependent because it's the UK. Let's be honest. On a good
Obviously, yes.
week, 2 times. On a good week, 3 times maybe. But it depends because if I'm going for sunrise, then that's normally early morning. So if I can get up out of bed, which I'm pretty good at doing, I'll probably go down to Southbourne Beach, and then that'll be 2 times a week. And then if I can, it'll also be another 2 times in the evening. So it depends. Maybe 2, 3 times a week.
Not bad. So I assume you must live quite close to the beach, considering that you can get down there very easily.
I live in the beautiful Southbourne. So I was born in Folkestone, Boscombe Hospital. I grew up around this area, live pretty much most places in Bournemouth, but Southbourne's my hub. So yeah, just on the cliff top, right by near Spyglass and Kettle.
Not bad. So you haven't moved far then?
No, no. I mean, I've travelled a bit, and but
Yeah,
obviously
from
being from
from what we
here,
mentioned before, yeah. Nice.
yeah, Kingsbury Head in this area. I play a lot of golf, so solar meters down the road for me, which is nice and easy for me and my friends. And in the summer, I mean, like I said, working 4 days a week's a dream because it just gives me an extra day to go down the beach,
I
hopefully.
was
So
gonna say,
more drone videos, which is good.
yeah. Yeah, so I guess the 2 weeks that we had at the beginning of the month must have been a lifesaver
Yeah, I've got a
for
lot of
you.
videos that I've not posted yet, to be fair. This is the issue, right? Because when you do videos, and well, photos are a bit different because photos are a still
Yeah,
image, but people end up taking
yeah, sure.
thousands and you got to choose the best ones. And the thing
Yeah,
with videography is like, I'm going down the beach and I can fly, a 5 minute video. But if you then compress that down into 20-second reels, because let's be honest, reels, people scroll and they do it for about 3 to 4 seconds per video and then they move on. So to be fair, like I've got hours and hours of videos I've not posted because once you've posted one clip of the 20-minute video you've taken, that's kind of like it, People will think, oh, I've seen that now. But so yeah, so I get a lot of videos, but I only post a short amount of them.
Okay, so have you got like a backlog full of stuff? Oh, we got the memory cards, even better. Oh wow, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and then the one I've got now, to be fair, I've got a SanDisk one, the 2 terabyte ones. These
Very
ones are good.
nice.
These are like 250 gigabytes, but these are quite slow transfer rates. All my drone videos are on these, on this, on the
Yeah.
computer, on the drone still. And I've got probably about 50 gigabytes worth of videos on my phone as well. So yeah, my problem is because I make so many videos and I like them all, I don't like the idea that if I delete it, I might lose it, even though I know I've got
Yeah,
a
I can
copy.
understand
But
that.
because I have so many videos, I can't be asked to
Hmm.
go and then find it. So my phone is a backlog of videos as well. So yeah, billions.
Yeah. All I can say is that whoever invented external storage is a lifesaver.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's a lifesaver for gaming and for flying drones and recording stuff. Yeah.
So, speaking of drones, now being fairly so tech savvy and following a load of tech guys through like YouTube and Instagram sort of thing, I know what a drone is. Um, though for the average bod, what is a drone? What's it used for? Oh yeah, you probably have an example right there, don't you?
Yeah, this is one I made earlier.
You literally took the word out of my
Yeah,
mouth
I
on that one.
literally made it with my bare hands, and I didn't. Okay. So a drone is basically an unmanned aircraft. There's no one in it. It's too small to fly me on that. Obviously, I'm 6'2". It ain't gonna work. This is the DJI Mini 4 Pro. In terms of the Mini series, this is probably I find the best one. The jobs that I do outside of the hobby side of stuff is up close personal areas. So it could be like roof inspections, places people can't get to. And then you flip it to more of the storytelling kind of commercial work, which then features up close crowded people, events, real estate. So this bad boy, because it weighs 249 grams, you don't need all the licenses you would need for anything above 249 grams. So this allows you to fly in open areas above certain areas that normally wouldn't if it weighed too much. Because again, the main thing for everybody is health and safety. So whenever I'm flying drones commercially, I'm obviously insured, I'm obviously covered, but it's just the easiest thing to fly. A lot of people like them because you've got automated kind of settings on there. You've got master class, you've got master shoots, so you can basically select an image and it will do it all for you. I'm more of a manual flyer. There's probably the difference like driving an automatic car compared to a manual. You're going to get more feel for it. It's more personal. You enjoy driving it. So when I'm flying this around, for anyone that doesn't know what drones do, this has 4 propellers on it pretty much that go around. The maximum distance you're allowed to go in the sky is 120 meters legally, unless you get permission from the CAA. And like I said, because it's so small, it allows you to do jobs that you normally wouldn't be allowed to do. And again, drones can vary. This one is small, compact, and easy to fly. You can go up to the Inspire DJIs. You can go up to ones that can literally travel across counties that the police use. So in terms of drones, you've all probably heard of and seen them. Football stadiums, you watch it on Sky Sports, they're flying up close to the players, giving you stadium reviews, loads of things you can use them for. So yeah, that's pretty much what a drone is. It gets you places that you normally can't get to from an aerial perspective.
Well, couldn't have put it better than myself.
I should be a salesman for DJI.
I was genuinely gonna.
Yeah, do you want to buy one?
I was really thinking, have you done like teaching workshops about this stuff? Because generally that was like you should get paid.
Yeah, I'd like to just let you know on this podcast, it's not a paid product, unfortunately. We're not paid to sell this. Yeah. But if you'd like to recommend us as recommenders, yeah, great. Sponsor this video, please.
Absolutely. So how did you sort of find out about drones and like drone niches and all that sort of thing?
To be honest with you, I've always been really hyperactive. I've got ADHD. It's one of these things where through life you are trying to find something that you can keep your attention span on long enough that it becomes something that you keep your interest in it. And I've gone through a lot of things in my life through like sports. I love sports and fitness. I love traveling. But I think for one thing I've never been able to do is capture the stuff I've been able to see like in a way that brings it to life so that people that can't go to that place or be there in the moment get to kind of experience it. And these are things that you can enjoy late in bed in the morning if you want to scroll your phone. You might not be the kind of person that likes traveling. You might just like seeing the videos of it, or you might be someone that just follows the journey. So I think for me, I like documenting parts of my life now that others get to witness, and part of that now is turned from a hobby that I got into drones. I just one day I bought the Mini 2 Pro, which was the first drone I ever bought. Flew it down the beach as a hobby, used it for like sport events, to just parties, to show my mates off. And then work started coming in. People saw my videos, and it was one of them moments where you are living in a world where you think, can I do this well? Am I good at it? Kind of imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, yeah.
It is. I've been working in insurance for years. I never grew up thinking I knew what I wanted to do. And then, being in insurance for 10 years, it got to a point where the hobby side of this started to become more of a paid interest as well. And then since then, I haven't looked back. And at the moment, business is booming. I'm allowed to work my current job alongside this as well. Allianz give me the freedom to do that. And yeah, I'm now enjoying doing my hobby and earning some money on the side of it. So, positive feedback from people on the videos I post and stuff, hence me doing this today. You've obviously noticed the video, which is great. So a lot of people in the Bournemouth Dorset area kind of enjoying what they're seeing from a different perspective. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, so I guess the obvious thing, how long did it take you to like get to grips with actually like flying a drone, the controls? Because I'm sure it must be fairly straightforward, the actual controls, but to actually like go from, okay, I'm doing this, but what's it doing up there?
Yeah.
Go left, right?
I think you just got to be good at multitasking, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know, do you drive a car?
Somehow I do drive a car.
Okay. Well, do you remember like when you first started, you probably imagine your left leg when it's on the clutch shaked a little bit? And people, I don't know about you, I was like that. I remember my first driving lesson. I got the car. always confident outside of this scenario because I'm doing something I've never done before. I remember my left leg on the clutch used to just shake. But over time, with practice, like anything, that shake disappeared. And it's exactly the same with flying drones. You'll notice, like, if you ever read forums of drones or you see videos, a lot of people always mention, oh, how'd you get past flight anxiety? That's literally all it is. People worry about maybe that they shouldn't be flying it in a certain way. They shouldn't be there. They should be certain height. And they're all the things that is kind of like your theory test when you do your driving test. You want to just make sure you know the basics, and you pass your theory test. You feel a bit more confident with knowing the signs and what you need to do. So I think for me, I just practiced. I played guitar. That's another good example. You only get good at guitar by practice. Exactly. And just like anything, is repetition and routine. Like I said earlier, I struggle keeping attention. And the drone side of the learning and the flying and the constant having to keep my attention on something, whether it be the drone or people around me, it kept my interest. And since then, I've found it's something that's just stuck with me. So if I'm being honest with you, after flying on fields and beaches for about a month, the anxiety went. Obviously, you get the secondary anxiety when you start doing jobs that you're paid to do.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level, but that's the kind of situation you chuck yourself in. You dive in.
That's when I need to get this right time comes in. Doesn't it?
But practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Though speaking of being able to get it right, do you now know how to get the desired footage when you need to like capture a certain thing, or you need to capture this moment or this time or a certain scenario? Again, was it just a case of practice makes perfect, or a bit of I sort of need to make sure I'm here at this time, there at that time? There's all a bit of
depends on the job, mate. If I'm being honest,
bit of prep work comes into the fray.
I'll give you some good examples. I've worked with loads of clients now. The last 2.5 years, I've worked with like boat charters. I've worked with YouTube videos. I've done behind the scenes. I've done another one I do a lot of work with is with a construction company who give me work with Waitrose, Iceland. And what I get to do is fly drones around supermarkets inside. So some of the stuff
makes logical sense.
Yeah. And some of the stuff I've been able to do is, fly around brand new shopping markets. Supermarkets have just been refurbed. And again, it's something that you get past from it's all confidence. You're doing jobs that you've never done before, and planning is a key thing. I think I've got jobs like the boat jobs where you could plan, but because you don't really know what to expect on the weather, the waves, the speed, the environment you're in, I've gone on jobs where I've just winged it. And because I'm hyperactive, I like to consider myself to do this. You just need to be a really good problem solver. You could be a great planner, a great organizer, but when stuff doesn't go to plan, you have to
that's
problem solve.
Yeah.
And that's where, flying your drone at 35 miles an hour next to a speedboat with a load of people on there, and you're trying to just get that captured shot so that people see it online or on a website. They think, ooh, I need to go do that, or I need to go and visit that, or pay to go and experience that. And, that's kind of how I do it. I'm a massive movie fan. I've always looked at the way movies are made. I did performing arts at college. I love everything that's creative. And again, doing not just drones, but camera work, videography, YouTubing, kind of like what you're doing, podcasts. I've done podcasts for people that are quite famous to do with property. You learn so many new things, but I didn't go to school and study it. I didn't go to school and study to be a videographer. I think all this has just come from an interest that I've turned into a passion, that I've turned into just routine and learning as much as I can, So I would say some jobs like weddings you definitely have to plan for. You want to know the timetable, you want to know when the bride's coming out, you want to know when speeches are being done. So that stuff is good to plan. But most of the stuff I do, to be honest with you, is a quick phone call, what do you need, when do you need it, how would you like it to be? Then they leave the creative side to me, and I just try to get to work.
So did you just say you can fly a drone at 35 miles an hour?
Yeah, I mean, some of the drones you can get much quicker than that.
You can probably get them about 60.
Nah, more than that.
Miles an hour? Oh, nah, okay, nah. Like proper like
200, 250.
That sort of thing. Okay.
I couldn't drive that. I'd probably need some licenses, but I've got a few friends with the FPV drones. You've probably seen the videos where they lay down and then they kind of propel themselves up and then they go.
Yeah, I've seen bits and bobs.
They're about 100. I think they go at 160 mile an hour, maybe more. But you wouldn't be flying them, for these kind of jobs. You want something that's a bit more like a Bentley, smooth and sexy when it records stuff and makes it look good, Not have to
Yeah, though I assume that the faster the drone goes, the more expensive it is.
No,
With no, okay.
no, it's all about the way to think of it is like you could buy a go-kart that goes faster than your average car, but the go-kart probably isn't as nice, so you're going to pay less. But the FPV drone some of my friends make, they to be fair, like you're getting the battery, you're getting the components, you're getting the circuit board, you get it all made. You can go to like third-party companies that give you the equipment you need to make it. These drones are obviously made, at mass, so they're designed to be in a way that the camera on it is built in as 4K. A lot of FPV pilots add like GoPro cameras to their units, so this is all built in. You've got landscape portrait mode, so again, this flies at a nice speed that's manageable and controllable. You've got cinematic setting, you've got sports setting, you've got normal. If you're doing cinematic shots like I like doing, slow motion shots, this can fly nice and smooth in cinematic mode. Do your manual flight, record the video, and then when you upload it, you just get to watch it back and edit the best bits. Or if you're chasing boats, sport mode, this pushes with the wind behind it about 35 kilometers an hour, something around that, maybe 30 miles an hour. And I track boats sideways and tracking them, and yeah, they manage to keep up in the wind. I think they can last up to about 35 mile an hour winds as well. And distance wise, I think, I'm not going to quote this because I'll get it completely wrong, and anyone who watches this will probably laugh at me. Let's say 2K in distance, 2 kilometers, not bad. So yeah, and that's about 899 quid.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the thing with flying in drones, say, as you said, with a boat at weddings and that sort of thing, is just making sure the drone doesn't go into the water, break and sink, and at a wedding to not basically injure anyone in the face. I
Pretty much, yeah.
They're the main two ones I need to just make sure you don't do that.
And which I've only done one of, by the way, and it wasn't hitting someone in the face. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had one accident the entire time I've done this, and it was at the end of a boat charter in Brownsea Island Way. We're coming back into Sandbanks, and the last video of the day, I thought, oh, I should download all my video quickly and then clear the memory card and fly it then. I risked it. It was a mistake. I flew my drone out to the ferry to capture the last clip of the day. And when you're flying off boats, it's moving. So the drone thinks you're moving. And it got to a point where once you get steady, it can take off and you can do it, fine. The boat decided to rock too much as I lifted it, and it just nosedived into the ocean. So I lost some footage. I lost the drone. It was the only time it's ever happened. It will never happen again. So yeah. But I haven't hit anyone in the face at a wedding. So that will never happen either, hopefully.
Yeah, because I will admit that when I first saw you had done footage at a wedding and following about, I didn't realize how versatile drones were, even though like everyone knows how insanely portable they are and what they can be used. So it's until you actually see it actually doing that you're like, this can be used for a heck of a lot. During COVID, where they saw drones flying through a house so they can see the whole thing, and these can be quite versatile little bits of kit, can't they?
Yeah, the only thing at weddings or like quiet events that you got to be mindful of is the sound of the propellers.
I was gonna say they must make a bit of.
So I've got a rule of thumb, like
every so often.
Yeah, I went to Hin St Mary's for a wedding last year. It was like a half Hindu, half Christian wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful. And obviously the Hindu side of the wedding featured like colors and drums. And when the bride came out, everyone, they got a musical band banging these Hindu drums. It is absolutely brilliant. The great thing was no one could hear the drone. So I could fly up close. I could capture all these cool images, fly through all the mist that was going off the colourful fog. When it was the Christian side of the ceremony, the more the English side of the ceremony, I'm flying my drone, but because I can hear it and I'm quite far out at this point from a distance, I'm thinking I can't get too close because they're doing their vows. At that point, you want to be on the ground capturing the footage with your wedding photographer. But most of the drone shots I capture at weddings are like the venue. Like I said, if there's loud music playing or you want to capture all the guests coming in, that's great for it. That paints a nice picture when you then edit in all the videography of the ground stuff. So yeah. But the main thing is just watch out for the noise, basically.
Yes. And just make sure that, as they say, I do, that the drone isn't coming into shot
No,
by the time and taking out the Yeah.
Exactly. You don't need that. You don't need that. I do though. The other week I did. I got asked to do someone's engagement down between Bournemouth Pier and Boscombe Pier. So I went down there, and it wasn't great weather. It was okay, but I ended up doing loads of photos and photography, which was the main part. But I mainly wanted to they wanted me to capture them asking his wife, his fiance, to marry him. So he goes, yeah, I'll give you the signal. So I flew my drone over. I'm hidden with
That's
some
never a good
flowers.
sign.
Yes, I've got flowers behind my back. I'm one-handed flying the drone, so she doesn't realise it's me. I've
Yeah.
then managed to like have my drone above them to the point where they can't hear it, I'm hoping. And I just see him looking on my camera, and he just looks up and he just goes like that. He gets on one knee. I've brought my drone right into him as he's on one knee, and I've just brought him 360 up close. At this point, they can hear the drone, but I think she did not care because she's been asked to be married. And he just thought, nerves are going, let's focus on this. So, but the video was great. You know, you can add some nice music to it, and they'll always treasure that and they remember that. So whether there was noise or not, it's irrelevant because they were in the moment. They were not thinking about the drone, and in the video, they get to keep now for life. So,
Absolutely.
again, you know, things like that are what makes the job fun.
I guess with that sort of thing, through doing video, it's all about telling a story. And even if you don't have the best tech, as long as you can capture the story, that's all that matters, isn't it?
Well, the main thing is they can look back at it, and remember,
Exactly.
and remember the memory as something they can enjoy, you know. So, but I do think quality does come into it a little bit because
It brings it up, doesn't it? It brings it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the videos I've seen at weddings where people have shot, not on drones, obviously, just general wedding videos, but, you know, you see the quality. And even back in the old days, when you look at like the old VHS tape videos where you see your family and your parents get married, you know, they're still quality if they're recorded right. You know, you look back and you think nostalgia, you know, I feel like I'm there, you know, whereas some videos people do, unfortunately, they don't come out the greatest. And if you're paying money to treasure a memory and have something you can share with your friends and family and look back together on, that's where you want the quality, you know. So I think for me, drones now have unlocked that extra quality that give you a different perspective. And then if you add in things like, I'll give you a good example.
Go for it.
This is a Panasonic Lumix 2, shoots in 6K, does cinematography.
I think that's what we call a bit of kit.
It's a big kit. This I think when I got this, it's worth about, I think at the time it was about $2,500. I mean, you could probably pick them up now for about 1,500, but if you mix
1,500 is it? Okay. Yeah.
Maybe secondhand, yeah. But if you mix these in with the drone and the Osmo, you've got 3 pieces of equipment in your kit that you can pretty much make anything with. And if you are good at editing, which is something that, if I'm being honest to anyone who watches this, it's great to learn how to fly drones. It's great how to learn how to, you know, get the confidence. But the main thing is, if you watch a lot of drone videos that get uploaded after, that's when then you'll notice the difference in the storytelling because you want the quality to be in the edits as well. So if you're going to learn how to fly drones, I'd equally say learn how to do editing on software that's basic to use, like Instagram or CapCut. Even your phone editing. I use a Samsung S24 Ultra. All the videos you see me upload to Instagram, most of my editing I can do through this.
Done on that. That's not too bad.
I've got all the setups for PC commercial work, but a lot of the hobby videos and the sunset stuff is all done in this. So there you go.
Yeah. So do you think it's easier? So out of all the tech that you've just wheeled off, which is like the easiest to capture the main bits?
Yeah, I mean, I started predominantly with the drone. Following the drone, I got the Osmo. No, not the instrument, that's a lie. I got the drone, then I got the camera, then I got the Osmo. So to give you context about why I think you need probably all 3, if I'm being asked to do a drone job that features a roof inspection, I don't need a camera on these. I don't need the drone, because that's the job, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
If I'm going to, I don't know, do a promo video of a coffee cart, drive down a main road and try and capture it moving to a location, which I've done, I use the drone. I don't need anything else. If I'm doing a behind the scenes, I want to follow you, put a mic on you and do some uploading to your socials that people can see a day in the life of, yeah, the drone can help with that, but I can't hear you because it's muted. So the Osmo is what I'll use for like behind the scenes, a bit like this, POV perspectives. I've got attachments like this. This is
I saw the thing.
Yeah, these aren't bad. I think the perks of doing the job is you sometimes get equipment offered to you and sent to you to trial. And this is something that, again, stick your Osmo in here. You can watch me fly my drone. It's stuff like that. And then, if I'm taking photography and I'm doing weddings and it's on the groundwork, or I'm doing like some ultra slow motion 6K up close footage, Panasonic comes in, because again, what you're going to get with this that you do not get with a drone or an Osmo is I can zoom and crop on these photos and I will not lose any quality. If I take a picture on a drone or an Osmo, yes, they're in 4K, but if I zoom into the picture when I'm editing it, it goes all grainy. If I do it with this, I mean, one of the wedding photos I took the other day, I zoomed into the crystal and it was like,
yeah. Beautiful.
So they're the differences, The camera's good for close shots and 6K. These two are good for like different perspectives and behind the scenes as well.
So which one is the most fun to use?
You know the answer to that. The drone.
I assume the drone.
The drone.
But you never know.
I could literally, listen, if I don't have my drone on me, I feel like I've lost my left arm. I don't know what it is, but this thing here is addictive because you're not a pilot as such. You're a drone pilot, so you get to experience what is the closest ever being to Top Gun Maverick in a way that's also safe. And you get to record stuff and make videos. It doesn't cost a fortune, It seems like a fortune at the price I mentioned earlier, say 900 quid, but
yes,
this has paid for itself of the enjoyment it's given me,
Yeah.
So someone like me who's hyperactive, I think the benefit I get from living by the beach and flying these is if I'm a bit manic or I feel a bit, not like down, but if I feel like I need a breather, I can just walk out my door, go to the beach, breathe in the ocean air, fly this drone for an hour, half an hour. A good point to make actually for anyone that does have one of these or flies them are these. You need these batteries. A good example is this holds 3 that you can charge at the same time.
That's cool.
I've got 8 batteries because they last about 30 minutes flight. If you're recording the entire time, you're probably looking at anything between 25 to 28 minutes. Obviously, because you might be flying loads and doing quickly, the more juice you use and the quicker they're going to go. So I think if you're going on jobs that are going to be day jobs, you need to be recharging these and taking loads of batteries. And these cost about 55 quid each. You might be able to get them a little bit cheaper. So it's all going well buying a drone and getting 2 batteries with it. But if you're having fun with it, what happens when they run out? You need extras. So that's my main advice to anybody. Buy batteries. And this is the most fun thing to fly.
Hello, everyone. If you've made it this far into the episode, thank you so much. As you're watching on YouTube, it would mean the world if you could leave a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, follow the podcast on socials at Reaching the Crescendo Pod using the links in the description below. Now, back to the episode. How did Horizon drone specialists come to be? Was it just a case of someone just asked you to do a job and then it just spiraled from there? Or do you have a plan to, I'm going to do it this way?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, the plan itself as such was after I got the drone and enjoyed the hobby, it got to a point where when I started getting really good feedback on some of the stuff I was doing from a hobby perspective, I started thinking, well, maybe I could turn this into money. So I just thought, you know what? I've got a great job. I work hard. I've got a bit of spare time in my evenings. Let's try something a bit different. I'm 31 at the time now, 30. I thought, you know what? Let's give it a go. So it got to a point where I just made a generic logo. I got a friend, Dita, who ended up making me an even better logo. I liked it. I ended up then, investing in some apparel. I wanted to get some nice, cool logo stuff printed onto it. So I thought any job I get, let's just see what happens. And after a couple of jobs, I got some of the logos printed on some clothing. And then, it turned into that. I think the Horizon part, Horizon is, if you think about a sunset over the horizon.
I was going to say, is you spend a lot of your time by the beach, don't you? So
yeah, it could be anything. It could be Southbound drones, Joshy drones. I thought, Horizon drone specialist sounds slick. It sounds professional. I am a specialist in terms of what I do because
yes,
I spent years now learning all this stuff and I put it into work. So I think for me, I have a lot of people I work with that are also in the business. So if it's not me that's the specialist, I also work with people that are specialists in their own right. And between that, the problem solving comes in. And that's how we then deliver on what customers and clients want. Most of the drone jobs is me going to. I pretty much work solely. On occasion, I have people that, again, I'm friends with that I work in the same community with. So again, I do get help on occasion if it's needed, but predominantly all the drone flights you see and all the commercial works from me. And I think the Horizon Drone Specialist side of it, again, my Instagram page for Joshy Clements does have a higher following. It gets a lot more engagement. But when it comes to commercial work, if I don't want me to be the person that's then posting the information, the content, and it's for the client, that's when then I just get to make it for them, to what they want. And the benefit of this job is that because clients trust me with what they can see that I've done, I get more freedom as well. So with that storytelling, saying about watching movies, directors get to kind of put their image into it. Same with any kind of content creation and marketing. You want to make it your own. And that's kind of what I've built on. And again, the feedback, the reviews I've had, the client base I've built up and the trust and relationships I've gained. All this kind of knowledge has come from what I've done for the last, 20 years in terms of working in insurance and stuff. So I think working with people is a skill set that I've gained. I'm good with confidence and I've got charisma when it comes to speaking to people. And that's also then come hand in hand.
I can see.
Yeah. That's the hyperactiveness though. I do tend to just
no, it's all good, even better.
Yeah. So flying drones and doing that together, it's kind of worked for me. So yeah, I'm still early days. I did have a 5-year plan. I think at the moment.
If you have some form of idea, great. But a 10-year plan, like, no one knows where they're going to be in 10 years. Genuinely, no one does.
They don't. But I do look at it as they always say when you go for a job, you should think about the next job after it. And with this job, the job is what I love with this as well. My goal and plans for the future, of course, would be to just keep the regular customers and clients I've got, build on it, get to a point where I can bring in some other pilots that like flying drones, that want to enjoy a passion for it, and again work with like-minded people to create engaging content that doesn't just help me with my business but helps promote theirs. And being from the Dorset, Bournemouth area and working with quite a wide range of clientele now, a lot of people referring to me as the drone guy on the South Coast, which is nice to hear. I do want to do a shout out to Stunt Club. The videos I make on Sundays are also a massive thing for me because I get to work with people that go through addiction and go through a change in their life where they're trying to make a change. And Connor and Brandon, who I do that with, they both run it. I get to fly drones with these people. I get to capture them jumping off boats. I get to watch, 50, 60, 70 people every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. climb zigzags, run up man-killer hills and push themselves to the limit. And if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I'm grateful now that at 33, or at the time 30, I found something that I enjoyed enough to help me meet people that could also change their lives as well. And it sounds really niche because it's a drone and it's a piece of plastic you fly around, but the stuff it's unlocked for me and others right now is what I'm enjoying. So I can't pick it up enough, to be honest with you. And the drone stuff, it's something that it makes me happy.
So you've shown me one drone. Is that the only drone you have in your collection, or do you have other ones?
No, I mean, it's currently the only drone I'm using. I've had others. Wow. The last one I sold because I wasn't using it. I think the next plan, because again, if I'm being honest with you, I could get higher level drones. I think the next steps will be to work my way into them as well. But because most of the jobs I do are flying in enclosed spaces or in areas where you can't physically fly heavier drones unless you have a higher license or permission from the civil aviation. So with these, I don't need anything else because the Mini 4 Pro or the Mini 3 Pro, even the Mini 2 Pro, worst case scenario, they're all below 250 grams. That's all you need. I've got multiple of these needed. So if this one crashes and I need another drone, is there, I've got it there ready to go. But in terms of expanding the drones, unless you're going to be doing things like nighttime flying across counties for the police or fire brigade for search and rescue, or doing films where you require one of these cameras rigged onto the drone instead of the DJI one, then you'd upgrade it. But for now, just got the Mini 4s.
So when you bought your drone originally, what was the main checklist that you had before buying it? Did you know what you needed before, or was it just a case of you just bought it and figure it out as you go? I assume the latter.
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, part of the hyperactiveness is impulsive,ness. And when I bought the drone, I remember it was a very impulsive decision because I thought, I don't need one, but I like it. Look at it.
Yeah.
It's like when you see a new games console or a new film comes out, I've got to see that or do that. So I bought the Mini 2. with the mindset of I didn't know what I wanted. I'm tech savvy like you. You know, I know what I want when I'm going to get something, and I want to make sure if I'm paying money for it, I'm going to get the most.
You
from it.
want to
So,
make sure it does the job you're looking at.
yeah. So let's be
Very
honest. If you're flying something, one, you don't want to make sure it crashes and is easy to crash. You want to make sure of all the drones you're researching, you're looking for the one that is most forgiving, that gives you the best quality, I guess. So the DJI Mini 2 at the time, that was the latest one, was the one I wanted. Got it, flew it, practiced it, realized, great, really enjoy it. The things it didn't have at the time were you could only shoot in landscape. So if you wanted to do reels or social media, you have to crop it. And again, you're losing quality.
16:9, isn't it?
Yeah. So at that point, straight away, what did I know I needed? I needed one that could then flip to landscape and portrait. To do both. The Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 4 Pro at that point gives you what you need. So the Mini 4 Pro, for example, on the remote control here, when your camera's loaded up on screen and you can see through the drone, there's an option where you can literally press a little button on the screen and it turns into portrait mode.
Okay.
So that's something I definitely knew I needed. And then I also needed to make sure the main aspect of recording is high quality camera recorder. So 4K. You know, I think Instagram and social media, they do tend to compress your files into 1080p.
Yeah, regardless, yeah.
But like I mentioned earlier, if you know a little bit of editing, there's ways where you can keep the same 4K quality, but just keep a smaller size. And that's why you see some of the videos that you get across like mine and other people, you'll see that it's got a bit better quality than normal uploads. And that's just the difference, really. Yeah, 4K and easy to fly and...
So is that through a filter or through like an effect or something?
I don't use filters. Trust me, I could and I should. Sometimes on a video, I make jokes of it because some of the videos I've recorded, and I did one of the church in Bournemouth Town Centre where Mary Shelley's buried. And I noticed every time the sun glinted the camera in an angle, it created this green dot that just floated across the video. So in the video, I said, "Oh, can you see the green fairy flying across the sky?" Because in a few of my videos, then it became a common trait where on occasion you see the green blot. But if I had a filter, that would obviously sort it out. But if I'm being honest with you, they're about 55 quid for a decent set. I've got some filters I've used before, but most occasions I don't feel like I need them. Some people do, some people don't. Depends what your vibe is.
Okay, so say that DJI see this, say, "Oh, Josh, you know how to use a drone, and we want to create a brand new drone." And it's your dream edition. It's the Joshy edition of a DJI drone. So with all your experience and what you know, what features would go into making your perfect DJI drone?
Okay,
Have you been asked that question before? Have you been asked that?
I haven't, but I thought about it. Yes. I thought about it. It's a good question because
thank you very much. I'll tell you that.
If DJI you watch this, these are the hints and tips that I have for you to sell more. Give multicolored options. Everyone likes customization. If you play Call of Duty, people buy skins. If you play Fortnite, people buy skins. Why do you only sell one color? Everyone has a color like this. You can go on Amazon and you can buy, again,
I was going to say, you can make,
But I'd rather it be when I'm purchasing it on Amazon or DJI.
You can choose a color.
Just like clothing or anything, you can choose the color. Because if I could choose a color, this would be claret and blue, because I'm a big West Ham fan, and claret and blue would be the color of my drone. Or I would like to maybe put it completely matte black. Probably do that myself, but yeah, colors would be an option. The next thing, which I don't think they'll ever get to unless someone invents something, is making them waterproof. So you can fly in the rain. I don't know. I've seen some drones. I've seen some people fly these Mini 4 Pros on videos on YouTube, and I've seen like a group of people squirting water guns in hoses, and somehow it still floats. I don't know if it lasted. Who knows? But if you could get a drone that was waterproof to fly in the rain, I know it might glare the camera a bit, but that's fine because you can get really good images for 5-second video. You know, you might capture something. And then lastly, it sounds really silly because I don't know how I imagine they do it. If you crash your car, the airbags go off.
Yeah.
Is there a way that if the drone knows it's going to crash into the water...
Oh, it had its own... Yeah,
it has like an inflatable, something built into it that weighs nothing, but just
cushion
inflates.
That just like...
Yeah.
Like
you know what I mean?
Like a bowl sort of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Encapsulates everything,
You'd probably have to pay an extra like 500 quid because it would cost a lot of money to me. But we're living in the dreamland right now, aren't we? So it's all right. So yeah, that would be good as well. Something that protects it a little bit if you crash it. I'd rather not pay out on insurance and, pay an excess fee. I'd rather, it saves itself. But they'd be my top three hints. Yeah.
So why don't you make a Horizon drone sort of thing? Why don't you make your own?
Because that is not my interest. I'm
No?
not interested in
Okay.
building planes. I'm interested in flying them. I don't want to know how to build the F1 car. I want to be the guy to drive it.
Drive the thing
Don't get
instead.
me wrong.
Okay.
You should know the ins and outs of all this if you're going to be an expert in it. I think, yeah, I'd love to make my own drone. I think if you could have a quadcopter concept, right, where you can have it like this, where it's like a helicopter / plane, but in a way it can transform so that it then turns into an FPV version. So I don't know how it would work because it's aerodynamical, isn't it? But if you could have it so that most FPV drones do all of it anyway, I think. So I'm probably tracking absolute nonsense, but in a way where you could turn it into some sort of 35-mile-an-hour hovercraft drone where it just hovers around and is nice and cinematic, and then you can transform it into a 100-mile-an-hour FPV drone. How we could do that would be great, because imagine you need to get that slow-mo cinematic mode. A lot of FPV drones, to be fair, already do that, but if I could turn it into maybe a Concorde jet, that'd be cool.
Okay. So basically,
Transformer.
blue drone and other things as well, so it doesn't break.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, so I don't have to pay money on buying a new one. That'd be great.
Yes.
That would be the dream.
Absolutely. So you were speaking about it before, buying drones in the future, and your business is booming at the moment with everyone wanting a piece of the South Coast drone guy. So in general, where do you see drones going in the future? Even more versatility, 8K, being able to fly it anywhere and everywhere?
Well, I think everyone hears or knows about the I'll be back. Hello. Yeah, so everyone would love it, right? Where you've got Deliveroo drivers, everyone would love a Deliveroo drone because, let's be honest, there's no traffic then where you've got people having to drop off. But then the issue is, I get it, because there's two sides to every coin. With more autonomous, with more AI stuff, with more technology, that then creates a problem where you don't need people to do the job, So I don't know how that would work. I'm not focusing so much on that. What my mindset would be is for the pushing the human race into a new direction, it would be things like transport, automated transport. So planes, obviously, if they're automated, if you can design them in a way that a drone is, they might be easy. I'm not too sure. Delivering things, whether it be heavy goods, small goods, Deliveroo, takeaways, whatever it is, the future will be people won't have to worry about traffic on the road if things are in the air. There's airspace, People don't realize that no one owns the airspace 50 meters above you. So when you hear people in their houses like, oh, there's a drone flying above my house, It is annoying, and I get it, and I agree. Like, if someone's spying on you, you don't want that. But legally, 50 meters in the sky, no one owns it, so you can do what you want. So I think, in the future, it'll be something like, Total Recall, maybe Blade Runner kind of vibe. Blade Runner's a great example. He flies around in a car that's basically a drone. That'd be the dream. Getting my chicken and blues ordered and it gets delivered by, again, drone. So I don't know. I've seen them post videos of it. I know they were joking on April Fools, but again, drone,
Sure.
drop off your food, great. Even scenarios where if you are doing organ transplants, hearts, lungs, people need it, you chuck them in a helicopter, you fly. If the helicopter's not about and it's suddenly, and most of the time that happens, people get chucked on mopeds, they drive it to the next hospital. Get in a drone, fly it over the county to where it's needed, quicker, faster, safer, stuff like that, You've also seen, I don't know if you've seen videos of it in China, but they've got drones that have hoses connected to them. They fly out building blocks and they put the fires out with heavy lifting drones.
That's cool.
Yeah, so again, no firemen will be needed, but health and safety-wise, they're protected. You got a bloke flying it from the ground and the drone's at risk, that's it. So there's so many things you can do. So the question you're asking me is, where will I see it going? I think it's already happening, to be honest with you. I mean, my sister's fella, he's in the solar panel business. You can get drones now with cameras that have got heat signature sensors on it. So you could fly over solar panels, turn the solar panels on. Any ones that are grayed out, they're not working. Circle them on a map, go and have a look, bosh. So there's so many different things, mate, that are coming that I reckon drones are going to change.
So speaking of already happening, I'm sure there'll be people that will see your drone footage of a beach and just say, you can flick it into AI, sorted. Is it trying to sort of use AI properly, or do you think that there will be a time that obviously drones will have their space regardless, they're great. Though, will there be a case of, oh, you can just sort of use AI for it?
Yeah, let's be honest. Like, I mean, I work with AI every day. I mean, even in the insurance world, there's AI models being created every day to do things that humans can't do because robots can think quicker, you know? Put it this
And
way,
normally
I
better as
think,
well.
yeah, exactly. I mean, AI, I'm quite big into that. I've got Adobe, all the software I use,
Yeah,
things that
AI.
can make things for you, Chat GPT, deepfake, all these things, I get it. And we're moving into a world now where people won't know if it's real or not. And I get all that is scary. It's probably going to turn into like a Terminator Skynet situation one day. Hopefully not. Maybe
Yeah,
it'll turn
fingers
into the
crossed not.
Matrix. You never know. But I think for me, like, it goes back to that thing where if it's real time, authentic, and you've got stuff that back that, it's no different to, for example, like an original painting. Because drones and recordings are all digital files also do come with a footprint, which means if I've made a video and it's an original, I'll have the original footage, yeah? AI could create the same image, but with AI, it could create a pretend, footprint. But I think unless there's ways they can do that, who knows? I would hopefully always have the authentic original. I think when you look at movies, a good example of drones and how it changed the business is when you've watched like 80s movies of Arnold Schwarzenegger hanging out an airplane. All the guys with the cameras on their helicopters recording stuff, when I think it was True Lies, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in a Harry Jump jet and he's hanging over the city. They've probably got helicopters flying around with, massive cameras recording
massive
it.
cameras trying not to
Yeah.
fall out. Yeah.
So Gary, who's a 40-year-old camera crew man who's done it for years and did it all at uni and learned how to do it, obsolete overnight. These bad boys come out. You don't have to pay a fortune to hire helicopters. You don't have to pay the guy a fortune to be on the camera and the equipment. You can pay a guy for 2 to 20 grand drone to do it all for you and record in high quality. So drones change the business for cinema movies, and AI will probably do the same thing for the way we watch movies and record things. Because, you could make a video. I think there's something on Adobe right now. I could record a 5-second video and then you can extend the clip and AI will finish the clip for you using the video you've already got. Like, that's mad.
That's
like, that
wild.
is mad. Yeah, and it's scary
That's
because
wild,
it
isn't it?
can,
Yeah.
politically, you can create things that are going wrong in the world. But so it could be used for the right things and the wrong things. Same as drones. Drones are being used for the wrong things in the world right now. They could be used for the right things as well. And it's exactly the same with AI. Who knows, mate? It's one of them things where in 80 years' time, when me and you are no longer here, that'll be something that maybe people will be flying around in floating cars, maybe Back to the Future. You never know.
I was going to say, hopefully Back to the Future 2 actually is in full fruition and Elon Musk hasn't got there first. Anyway.
But would you buy my product, right? If I made a hoverboard featuring the same quality of how a drone works, that would sell, So maybe Horizon Drone Specialist hoverboards would be a thing.
Hey, all you need is a TikTok shop, and then you can do anything. Trust me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Maybe that's right. Maybe I need to do that.
So, what's the future with you and your flying drones? Are you just do more client work, buy a few more drones? That
I've
sort
got
of
a bigger
thing.
picture of that. Yeah, I think me and my missus are saving for mortgage, and I think obviously growing through life as an adult like you are, I think we've all got aspirations. Yeah, I think I've always been the kind of person to like be impatient, rush things because I'm hyper, and I like to get things done. And I think for the first time in my life, taking my time with this business is something that has helped me a bit because it's allowed me to realize taking a step back sometimes and putting the time in to make things right so that when you do something, it's to the best of your ability. I could be the kind of guy that also says, I'm happy making mistakes because it makes you learn from them. I think everything I've done in the last 2.5 years of Horizon Drone Specialists is turning it into something now that becomes, I'm nationwide already. I'd like to do something that's a bit more globally. Yeah. I could use my traveling experience to go across the country, go across the world, go across Europe, etc. One thing I like doing is showcasing and storytelling, as you can tell. So I think for me, expanding more into if people want to go abroad and go and stay in some lovely places, I've done one recently for Club Casita in Christchurch, and beautiful riverside place with a jacuzzi, Isle of Wight, Hengistbury Head, things like that make people who haven't done that think, I want to go do that.
I want to go and do that.
Yeah, because we're all here once, we're here once.
Oh, yeah.
I'm used to so many people in my life growing up that live in a bubble. And once you pop that bubble and see what else is out there, you realize that
Oh
There's
yeah.
so much more to the world, and
Oh
I
my
think
God. Yeah.
that's what the drone videos allows me to give to people that haven't experienced that. And if they have, like my mum's a really good example of somebody that, she might be saying it, but she hasn't traveled a mass amount. She has lived in a Bournemouth bubble her whole life, and that's the same with a lot of people
Yeah.
across the country and the world. Once you pop that bubble,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. I will. So like my family is sort of the same thing. They haven't moved that far. Like me and my sister are trying like go places, do because even though being in one place is great, it's comfort, but what's the point?
You're just not going to
Generally,
grow as a person,
there's only I know like it's very rare that you can grow as a person or with anything being stuck in the same place for
Exactly.
so long, isn't it?
Yeah, life's short. I've got my dad's a new guy. I look at people around me that I think are struggling. And I just think that's where you just got to grab things by the horn and make the most of it. My dad's lived the life of Riley. He's traveled a bit, and growing up, he's always pushed me to do that. My mum has pushed me to do it, even though she hated me going traveling. But the one thing I do wish I could go back in time and do is travel, but have one of these, because I didn't have one. Imagine, I've got friends in Australia right now. I lived in Byron Bay for 6 months, and you got dolphins and whales every single morning, day jumping out of the water. I had no drone. Like, if I had a drone, imagine what I'd be doing then, So again, you can't sit too much on the mistakes, but I think, but that is a good example now where if I had the opportunity to go and do that with companies abroad, I could showcase stuff like I do here that would, again, bring it to life and make people either engage with the content or want to go do what we're doing, So
Yeah. So what's like? So if you could go anywhere in the world to use a drone, whatever wonder of the world you could, where would you want to go? Just like that.
Can I give you 3 answers? Because again, I've thought about this before.
Go for it.
I've been to the
Give me a
pyramids.
countdown.
I've been to Egypt. I've been to the pyramids. Absolutely fascinating. It blows my mind. Graham Hancock, when he talks about it on Joe Rogan, blows my mind. And if I could fly a drone around there at sunset, all my days, like that would be, imagine the video, like that would be so
Oh
sick.
my God.
Even if they let me fly it through and out, like that for me would be a dream. A second one, if I could go to a volcano that's active, I've seen so many videos of it. I'd love to fly some drones over a volcano, even if I could get up close myself and be in the video, to just be like, look at this, wow. So that's a dream. I've seen a lot of videos where people do that. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't know if you're a football fan.
Not really.
To anyone that is, yeah, I'm a West Ham fan. I think any boyhood club fan moment would be to play football with your team on the pitch. For me, doing that would be one. If I could go back in time to West Ham's old stadium, Upton Park, and fly this around and capture a video that I could remember, that would be a dream, because me and my dad would appreciate that, and I think a lot of fellow West Ham fans would. So there's 3 things in my life that would do. You could, if you want, you could add Bora Bora onto the back of it, or Bali. I wish I had my drone in Bali, but I didn't. So.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, is it?
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. I'm 33. It will happen. You watch. It will happen.
Right, so Josh, business is booming at the moment. Where can people find you if they require your services for whatever reason they require?
It is www.horizondronespecialist@hotmail.com. And my Instagram page is Horizon Drone Specialist. And if you want to follow my personal journey, which to be honest with you is the fun stuff as well, it's just Joshy Clements. Just type Joshy Clements in on Instagram or TikTok, and you can watch daily sunsets, videos, behind the scenes, how to use drones, anything you want to know about drones. Yeah, you can contact me and ask me any questions you want.
And I'll meet you in person. You can go to Bournemouth at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
That's correct. Dirty Chime, Stud Club, 7 a.m. If you want to push yourself and, get physically fit and clear your head and, have a good mindset, that'll be the place to meet me. Come down there, capture some drone videos with me, get some fitness in. Sunday, Dirty Chime, 7 a.m.
Not bad.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, Josh, for someone that knew very little about, so like knew bits about drones but didn't know much, I think, I know a lot more about drones now.
You're going to go buy one.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Nearly there.
Not quite yet. Though you should definitely think about doing some workshops or teaching. You've definitely found your.
It's part of the plan, mate. It's all part of the plan. You watch this space. You watch.
Just put this everywhere, and you will have teaching flooding in. I promise you. Anyway,
Exactly. Ben, it's been a pleasure. My last question for you before we go is:
go for it. Go for it.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time
Oh
with this
no!
podcast?
Don't ask me this question.
What's your podcast plan?
Okay. So I yeah. So right. So okay. So this is currently episode. So this will be episode 21 that I'm filming now. I've been doing for 3 years. And yeah, and as you can see, I'm on video now. Hasn't been that in the past. So basically, yeah, because I do have a couple of guests that I've got in the pipeline. That like, if I thought in 3 years I'd be speaking to people of that caliber, I'd be mental at myself, and hopefully just speaking to more cool people like you. Basically, that I don't know much about what they do. I want to learn more about what they do, see it in action, all that sort of thing. Travel a bit and do all that sort of stuff. First podcast in person. Yeah, that's my ish 5-year plan.
Well, you'll smash it, mate.
We will see what happens. Anyway, Josh, it has been a pleasure. Thanks for agreeing to do this. And again, it has been an absolute pleasure.